Welcome to another episode of Core Reviews. I'm Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Jay.
And
All right, and today we are in for our September movie of the month, and it is Mad Max Fury Road, the 2015 classic starring Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy. So let's get to it. Let's start off with our general overall thoughts of the movie.
Well, you know that I think highly of it.
So you like this movie, Jack? See, this is my first time watching it. I thought it was shallow and pedantic.
I agree as well. Shallow and pedantic.
But no, it was boring. No, I'm kidding. It was great. It was, I don't want to say different than what I expected, but I didn't expect the whole movie just to be on the road. I guess I should have, because it was called Fury Road. I just thought they also would do other things besides the chase scene, but I liked it. For a 2-hour movie, it made a chase scene very enjoyable. To stretch that out for 2 hours is pretty impressive and to keep people entertained.
I was a big fan of it. This was my third time watching it. I saw it in theaters initially, and when the trailers came out, I didn't know what to expect.
So I watched it in theaters like you did, and I was blown away.
I watched it the Wednesday after it came out, and it's because several coworkers were talking about it and were like, dude, you gotta see this movie. I was like you, Max. I didn't expect it to be like, it's really just one chase. It's really just a chase movie. That's the whole thing of the movie. I also didn't know what to expect because, again, I hadn't really watched the other movies. I don't really know much about them. I knew, like, somewhat about the Citadel and his car, and that's kind of all I knew. I didn't know any of the characters, didn't know, but it was really good.
Hunter, if I had to capture your feelings about the movie, I think you would be as excited and hyped as the guitar man in this movie.
I'm sorry, that is the Doof Warrior.
I'm so sorry.
The Doof Warrior.
It starts, you have a 5-minute kind of lullish, and then it just is at 100. But
even the beginning is when he gets captured, so he's still fighting him off. So it's not the chase scene yet, but there's still some action in there.
Like, it does not really slow down.
I like how the movie takes little to no effort to explain the plot, but they do a good enough job in that you can just glean the plot from what's happening. They don't need to explain it to you, you know?
Yeah, it's a basic plot, but, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, sometimes just make it simple, man. Just make it simple.
The main plot for this...
Sorry, before we go into it, I forgot to say, this is a spoiler review. We're reviewing it, though it's been out since 2015, so kind of on you at this point. But, spoiler review. Okay, you can continue.
Basically, this guy named Morton Joe, he owns this area called the Citadel, and in this he has basically women captured. He calls them breeders because basically he uses them for what the name implies. And so there's a woman named Furiosa. She has taken it upon herself to try to, help these women escape and go to the Greenlands. So that's basically the whole plot of the movie. Morton Joe finds out his ladies are gone, and so he sends his war rigs after him, and then that's basically the plot, is them running away from the war party, but also trying to get to the Greenlands.
The whole world is essentially a desert, so that's
the whole it's a wasteland. I'm guessing like nuclear war, happened.
And like Hunter said, I like movies when they can do both. Of I felt the fans of Mad Max's really liked it. The ones who'd watched all of them knew the lore, but then you had the people like myself and Max who hadn't really ever watched Mad Max. We kind of were like, okay, cool, we can get into it, we can like it, we can pretty much figure out what's going on. Because I feel that's a very hard line to cross, that you satisfy both fan bases.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only Mad Max movie I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're going to kind of go into some of it. First, let's go into some of the characters. Obviously, there's Furiosa, very highly praised character.
Badass.
I didn't even know she had one arm. I didn't even know that. I didn't know she had a robot thing. So yeah, I definitely knew almost nothing about the movie. So I thought that was pretty cool though. And then when she was holding him with her hand, when she was holding him outside the truck, I couldn't help but think of Scary Movie too. It was like, take my good hand. Take my good hand. But no, she was very cool.
She's good. I think they did well in especially getting Charlize Theron to play that role.
She killed it.
That was one you had to think, that was a very important role to play. Honestly, that character was, harder really to play than Mad Max.
She does most of the dialogue. Mad Max barely talks.
Sir, he has different grunts throughout the whole movie, okay? And they each mean something else. He had his grunts that showed that, yes, he's happy, he's okay with the plan. There were grunts that showed that he was dissatisfied. I mean, it's all there, Jacob.
He talks more near the end, but basically he kind of talks like his character in Lawless, that like really deep like grunt talk.
I mean, it takes like the first 30 minutes, he really does not. He's just grunting till you get to that point where he finally escapes and he's with the women trying to get water. That's like the first time he really talks. Yeah, but that character is just so pivotal, and you kind of see the importance of that she needed to be on point.
Another plot point of how Max plays into it is he gets captured and is used as a blood bag because he's a universal donor for an injured war boy played by Nicholas Hoult. And so he takes.
He does a good job too.
Yeah, he does a great job. He takes Max with him as he tries to capture Furiosa. So.
I don't think I would like being described and named Bloodbag as they kept calling him at the beginning of the movie.
Not at all. You know, actually, my first time watching it, I didn't realize till like about an hour and a half in that was Nicholas Hoult.
Oh, really?
Yeah, didn't hit me. Didn't know he was in the movie.
If I didn't know he was in it, maybe I could have seen it, but I knew that's who he was all the time.
He's kind of very recognizable to me, especially after seeing the masterpiece known as The Menu.
So let's just go through the movie. So they capture him at the beginning, and his car, the legendary car. What's the car called again?
The Interceptor, I think.
Yeah, so they capture it, and like his car really doesn't play much of a role into it, but I know in the other movies it plays a lot bigger of a role.
I did like that they had the little shoulder thing that was reminiscent of the older movies. I thought that was nice.
So Furiosa, they were originally going to get gas, was it?
Furiosa was delivering gas to the rock climbers people to blow up the wall so she can get them across. To get them guzzle.
Yeah, so and then she curves off and then lies to them, and then he's like, "What the heck's going on?"
Yeah, she is. She's sent to get gas and ammunition from the Bullet Farmer and People Eater. We'll talk about the Bullet Farmer later.
Yeah.
I won't go into specifics about the groups, but I did like how each section of the world, I guess, all the people they encounter, the different groups, they felt like almost different species, like in Star Wars almost. You know, they each had their own look, they got their own cars the way it is, so they, they're like teams almost. We got to have this look because we're the war boys, we're the whoever else.
They did do well with that part of specifying, so you could tell. And also, I think it also did a very good thing of giving you the plot very quickly, because a lot of movies, I feel like, rely on exposition to explain to you, and sometimes like, no, just show me what's going on and I can figure it. Like, I'm not an idiot, I can figure it out. So then they start going, and then Nicholas Holt's character, you don't know what happened, but he's not fully healthy, because that's why he needs the blood bag. Chase, because initially the guy takes his wheel, then he has to like wrestle it from him, and that's when they get Max as his blood bag. And so then starts the chase where he's on there and starts the epicness. Oh man,
when he has that mask on, Tom Hardy's character in front of the car, I feel like he looked a lot like Gerard Butler to me. I don't know if everyone got that vibe. He looked a lot like him.
I didn't get that vibe.
We see D3 just joined in. Do you want to share your thoughts on Mad Max?
Outstanding film. One of the best action films of the 21st century.
Literally, I was like, it's nonstop. So they get off, and this is where it's calm for 10 seconds to give you a little, but then it ramps back up, and you start seeing the chase scene with everything going on. Guys, we obviously have to talk about the guitar. That's not the most epic thing ever.
I mean, like we talked about when we watched the movie yesterday, you got, like, for wrestling, you got to have your interest music. You got to let people know who's coming.
It's in Morton Joe's WrestleMania. He's getting Lemmy to play him in like Triple H.
I like the look of a Morton Joe as well. He looks like he's going to die at any moment, really, with his skin.
He has like
a
respirator because he's struggling to breathe.
I call it, he has a Darth Vader type outfit going on. Just without a helmet.
He's the leader, and they all cherish him and view him as a deity.
But Morton Joe did a good job of kind of being, he's almost like a cult leader, where he's, like I said, a deity. He has all these war boys believing, I live, I die, I live again. And so that means that and like you see in the movie, they're quick to sacrifice themselves after they spray their mouths shiny and chrome. I will walk you to Valhalla, and you'll be shiny and chrome.
To Valhalla myself.
Essentially, the chase scene happens. Mad Max, the whole thing, Furiosa fights them off, and they got to go through this narrow spot. You get through. Mad Max eventually, as they get closer, kind of flips the car over. Yes, this is where you have spend to leave. They would have.
He got wrecked. Okay, he had no shot. He's going to survive that. The sand in this area must be like pillows.
Yes, it's very comforting, very soft. You know, special kind of sand. You know.
Yeah, we told you that when we watched it yesterday.
Yeah, Nicholas Holt's character would have died like 3 times.
But to be fair,
yeah,
I mean, there was like some stuff. It's a whole different universe out there because remember, there's just like big tornadoes, but apparently they weren't strong enough to suck you in unless you got right up to it.
Yeah, I was kind of confused with that. I was like, okay, well, I guess Earth. Maybe the physics changed after the nuclear war. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole new world, man. It's a whole new world, and maybe the cars are more sustained to endure. That's. It's only fitting in Mad Max. I've missed that whole point. I've missed that so many times. So kind of they go onto this journey, start getting away, and then Max escapes, and then they have this point where they're chasing them, and Max kind of joins the group. He doesn't really he's trying to escape by himself, but Furiosa has it rigged so it can't leave without her.
Yeah, her war machine.
Yeah, very smart by her. And then kind of convince him, like, hey, come on, we all just need to work together. I just need to get these girls to this spot.
Before they got to the point, he was chained up still with Nicholas Holt's character, and eventually he gets, the chain cut off.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. But I think also a real cool part is that how well these shots were all taken, because this wasn't CGI at all.
Most of it, no, there's some, but most of it's not.
CGI. Very little. Yeah, but very well done with the action scenes.
I like the fight scene with Max and Furiosa, where he's still chained up with Nick Holt, and he kept getting inconvenienced because he was still chained to Holt, so he kept having to find ways to fight. I thought that was really nice and really well done.
Yeah, that was a fun sequence. And kind of comedic at points because, he kept getting tripped up.
Because he got the chain yanked, and his arm went under his crotch, and he flipped over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, kind of at one point, he doesn't want to, but out of necessity, he has to kind of work with Nicholas Holt's character to get out of it, because he's like, well, he's the only one somewhat helping me, so I kind of have to work with him in this fight.
They team up to put the clip back in the gun, so that way they can get the ladies to stop attacking them. Yeah.
Then he's like, okay, cool, I got what I want. Boom, I'm out of here. They keep going down this chase pattern. So I'm skipping forward. They kind of figure out how to work together, and they get stuck in the mud. Essentially, they leave Nicholas Holt's character at that point, and then they keep driving on forward. And Nicholas Holt's character delivers the white piece of cloth breeders were having. So
he
gets to ride in front with the rest of the group, which brings to one of the funniest moments. When Nicholas Holt catches up with the main bad guy, and they're trying to jump onto the trucker, and they're saying, don't harm the girls, but put a bullet in kill Furiosa. And so he does his initial jump, and you think, oh, okay, he's made it. He's got this. But then when he starts running, the chain clips, and he falls off right in front of his hero.
Because Nicholas Holt, during the movie, he's never even talked to Immortan Joe before. This is his god. So he got to talk to Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe believes in him. Immortan Joe just told him he will personally see and walk him to Valhalla if he does this thing for him. So this is his moment, and then he immediately fails and drops the gun.
And then he fails so hard he switches sides.
Because as we talked about, look, when you felt that bad, you can't go back to everybody you knew. You think, because there's no way you can go back. You have to switch sides. That's the only way you can have any sort of pride left.
Yeah, there's no way.
But he can't go. But then he'll never be shiny and chrome.
He wasn't going to be shiny and chrome anyways. There's no redemption there.
You can't be shiny and chrome and mess up like that, Hunter. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, he fails so hard, and then have your idol call you mediocre. Oof.
And then drive right. I'm telling you, it was immediate. Right as he got on there, he tripped and chain got caught, and he almost fell off.
He was feeling so good about himself, like, "Ooh, this is my shot," and then that happens.
And blew it.
Immortan Joe kind of drives off, But then, like you said, Hunter said, he had to join up with them, and then he kind of catches feelings for Becky Lynch. I mean, the redhead in the movie.
With the Becky Lynch clock.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, during the whole movie, every time I saw her, I was like, Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch.
And he switches sides to help because she kind of comforts him when he feels bad because he's hiding in the back, and he starts helping them because they get stuck in the mud, and they use this tree to get them out of the mud. And then at this point is Jacob's favorite character coming through because he's going to go ahead and stop them.
Bullet Farmer.
Let you kind of go into that.
The Bullet Farmer says he gets a bullet for Furiosa, and some of his teeth happen to be bullets. So he yanks a bullet out of his mouth, puts it in his gun. So that's really awesome. And his name implies, Bullet Farmer. He's got a ton of guns, ton of ammo.
I like his long pistols, and he's just like.
You're like, oh, don't hit the breathers. He's like, just probing.
He's just shooting blindly down here. No, there's no way he's hitting any of these shots.
You have to have that one crazy uncle. Uses a simple character, but makes it awesome.
Did we go over that they're in the wetlands, so they're struggling to drive?
Oh yeah, they're in the storm at this point.
Yeah. But anyway, since they're struggling to drive, the Bullet Farmer's vehicle resembles more of like the tank. Makes it easier to traverse such a terrain. So he was having an easy time. He was blindly shooting, like he said. He was just probing, trying to get to see if I guess anyone will react or shoot back, so we can see where they are.
Well, seeing soon becomes a problem for him.
Seeing does become a problem for him. So eventually, as he's approaching, Mad Max tries to snipe the light out. He misses. He can't do it. He reluctantly gives the gun to Furiosa, who hits straight up shot. She destroys the light. And Max, you can go over what happens.
The glass essentially cuts his eyes out, I guess, so he can't see. So he handles it well, I think. He just gets wrapped up and then goes shooting crazy.
No. At first, he gets a little upset because he has a lot. He's like, put the flare in my eyes. He's like, where are you? He's like, closer. Oh yeah. And he's like, he still can't see. So he screams in anger. He screams in anger.
Well, no, he does. He got over it, though, quickly to go on to the next thing. I think I would have still been stuck on that can't see, so I'm going to retreat now.
Well, now he's really angry. He really wants to get Furiosa. But now I guess he really doesn't care if he hits the women or the breeders because he is just shooting his machine guns or SMGs, whatever, all over the place, yelling. That's awesome. His one-liners are great. I guess one criticism would be for a lot of people I've seen it's like so Mad Max leaves the rig. Says basically he's gonna take out Bullet Farmer or whatever, but all you see is an explosion, or you hear gunfire, then you hear an explosion, and then Max comes back with a ton of ammo and guns. So they imply that he killed the Bullet Farmer and took all of his guns, but you don't see it. So that is one criticism I've seen people say is they don't actually see the Bullet Farmer die.
I can get with that. I would like to have seen that.
Or is he dead? Dun, dun.
Well, somebody's dead.
He has to be dead if he got all of his ammo taken from him.
Yeah, so eventually, they get that, and then they go to the green place?
Yeah, they go to what they think is the green place.
Yeah, and they realize, oh no, they passed it. It's destitute. They don't have any resources.
The wetlands they were struggling to traverse across wasn't supposed to be the green place.
And so they're kind of stuck to, well, what do we do now? They were going to go east, and they kind of said, well, Max, here's a bike for you. You can go and figure out what you want to do and go whatever way you want to go. They're all parting ways. And then Max has a vision, which he's been having these visions from before, and he decides to join them and actually tells them, actually, no. He brings out a map, meets them, and then says to Furiosa, you need to go here, which he's pointing back and says you need to go back to Citadel because that's essentially where the resources are. Yeah,
because that's water, it's got plants, it's got a whole lot of stuff. I don't know where the water's coming from though, but
it comes from underground.
I know, but how does that work? Like, how much water's under there?
Enough.
You just gotta go with it. I see where you're going, but
Well, just like during the whole movie too, when they're chasing after him, they always talk about how gasoline is a limited resource, bullets, of course. Nathan Jones and a couple other people in this movie don't have any problem wasting bullets, and they're using a whole lot of gas chasing them. So this tells you that Morton Joe really wants to get his women back.
Well, and People Eater keeps accosting him all throughout the movie about how much stuff is costing him.
At least they try to say that this is all not for naught.
But they are showing that Morton Joe's he is stopping at nothing.
It's property.
Yeah, my property. Patience.
Oh, sorry, we missed a big part because one of them died. The leader died.
You think she gets saved? She's about to hit like a rock wall while they're dropping through like a narrow passage. So she gets out of the way on that, but then shortly after falls off and then gets run over.
By Morton Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, then a little bit later we see that the baby died too. So now Morton Joe's even more angry, and Nathan Jones' character is angry because he had a little brother and he was perfect in every way.
Mm-hmm.
When that dude gets the baby out, he just like slams that baby down. He's like, "Yeah, it's a boy, baby boy."
Treating it as if it was like an object or something.
It's perfect in every way. So they're not heading back because they also devised this plan of saying, hey, if we go through that narrow part and we can cut them off, and actually the Citadel is not guarded at this point. All that's left is the war boys that are weak, and so we could easily take it over. If they can just get through that narrow ledge.
They exploded the rock so that way it blocks the rest of the other people out. Right.
Yeah. At this point, I think they're kind of Morton Joe's sad and giving up because this all happened. And then he also realizes, oh, crap, they're going back.
He sees them going back, and he's like, what are they going back for? He's like, oh, crap. That's what it is.
Yeah, he took all the available warriors to go. So he basically left it wide open for it to be taken over. So you get another huge action scene, lots going on, people coming in. Zoe Kravitz's character gets grabbed and taken back to Morton Joe. Pretty much all but like one of the women that they join dies in the action, because you have the two that were on the motorcycle that they got shot.
That was my favorite old lady.
They get back, and during this time, Furiosa gets stabbed while she's like holding Max and trying to keep him from falling. One of the guys comes by and stabs her. Gets her good too. Hunter, your expert opinion, like how bad? Fatal shot?
Well, if that wasn't when Mad Max tries to fix or remedy her situation by stabbing her on the other side to kind of even her out, I think that might have done it.
What they were going for there.
I wonder if he was trying to say she's maybe getting blood in her lungs, so maybe they kind of like, I don't know.
He was like letting it out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's like the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, because at first I thought he was going to stab her in the exact spot to cut so it would stop bleeding.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
That's what they were going, but then wasn't that?
he's like, well, you're on that side. Let me just even that out. Yeah. It's okay. That was hilarious to me.
But they ended up getting back. Nicholas Holt's character is staying back as they're trying to get to the other car. And while they have the huge tanker, he's going to block their way and kind of creates a whole explosion and everything so that they can't get back. Got the big dude's name.
Nathan Jones.
Rictus Erectus.
That guy does one of the most jaw-dropping scenes when he grabs the engine and rips it right out. So just like nothing.
He's a pretty big guy. I mean, he might be able to do it. I don't know.
That's when Nicholas' whole character is the only reasonable thing. You just gotta kill both of y'all at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm clearly not going to win this, so I might as well turn this car over and blow it up.
Yeah, go out like a hero. And he whispers, witness me. So they end up eventually getting back there, and then they show that that the head's dead. So
they're on the way back. Morton Joe and our heroes are side by side in the car, and Furiosa grabs him, pulls his face off, and kills him.
While asking him, like, remember me or something like that?
Yeah, and that's the last thing he saw. That's the only thing he saw. He looking right at her.
They get back, and there's the whole lowering of the gate, and then basically young war boys lower the gate for them. They get on and bring people up as well as allow the city to have water. And at this point, Mad Max leaves the group. You see him walking away as they're being raised up on the Citadel. Yeah, that kind of hits pretty much the movie. So, guys, any issues we had with the movie?
Like we talked about with the farmer guy, I would have liked to have seen that resolved on screen. For this type of movie, I don't know what else you would really add to enhance it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would take anything out, so I guess the only thing you could have explained more was his visions and why exactly he was seeing. It was definitely heavily implied that was his daughter. He must have had a wife and daughter, and they died somehow. We don't know anything really about it, but maybe that could have been explored more.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that was supposed to be like a sequel of like, oh, we're
That's
going
what
to
I'm
allude to this.
guessing.
I would say that's my one frustration with this is that, like, because it did so well, there was like, oh, we're going to make a Mad Max 2. And I was like, cool. And then it turned into a Furiosa because Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron didn't get along. And now it's a prequel that's not going to have Charlize Theron, which, like, I mean, Anna Taylor-Joy's great actress, but, like, is it really going to be the same?
But Rectus will be in it.
You just like saying his name.
Yes.
So, any like favorite characters besides Furiosa?
I mean, Mad Max, but
Bullet Farmer. I also like the Mother of Siege.
Yeah, she was cool.
This movie got nominated for several Academy Awards.
6 Oscars, but all like technical stuff.
Dude, it's a technical masterpiece, really.
Yeah, so it also got Best Picture nomination, Best Director, Best Cinematography was nominated. Then it won Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Production Design, Sound Editing, Sound Mixing, and was nominated also for Visual Effects.
Yeah, for this kind of movie to get a Best Picture nomination tells you how good it is. This usually is not an Oscar-type movie.
Very much not.
That's fun. George Miller also directed Happy Feet.
He's showing his range, Bobby.
Yeah.
Hey, my only wish is that the sequel came out quicker. There was
you're not getting a Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron sequel, which is unfortunate because they were clearly setting something up. We get to see what Theron does as the leader of the colony, whatever you want to call it. We get to see what happens next in Mad Max's journey. So it would have been nice to see that, but it's just too late. It's too late.
Yeah, it is, because there was so much hype around this movie that I'm always surprised they didn't. Just certain things didn't work out, and we didn't get.
I mean, if the stars really hated each other like they supposedly did, maybe they just didn't want to do another one together, and you're not going to make a sequel without both of them.
Sometimes you hope. You're like, maybe throw a little extra money, you can figure it out.
Yeah. Oh well.
Let's do our ratings out of 10.
9.
For action movie, 10.
I'll give it a 9.
8.5.
Action movie, a 10.
Average out to a 9.3. If you did give it a 10, Phil, that average out to a 9.3.
So let us know what you thought below. Have you seen it? What did you think? What were your thoughts on it? Did you wish they came out with a newer one? Are you excited for whenever the prequel Furiosa comes out? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you all for liking, sharing, subscribing. Also, I do want to give out that we have another channel that Max is in charge of, if you want to tell what that channel is.
We call it a Wrestling Rewind. You may have seen some of our episodes. We kind of are right now currently doing the Monday Night Wars, but also on the other channel we'll make some random wrestling related videos. It could be like a promo video that they do for the matches, a hype package, whatever you want to call it. It may just be some random thing my son told me to make, so it could be anything. So there's different stuff there, but it's all going to be wrestling related, of course.
So if you like that, and we seem to have a pretty good wrestling base that watches this, but again, my name's Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Bobby.
Jay.
And Hunter.
All right. Thank you for all the likes, share, subscribe, and may the discussions begin.